If I were buying a home in Seattle today, even with a healthy budget, there are a few things I simply wouldn't compromise on anymore. And surprisingly, a brand new kitchen isn't at the top of the list. Neither are quartz countertops, designer lighting, or expensive appliances. After helping buyers throughout Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, Tacoma, and Gig Harbor, I've noticed something interesting. The homeowners who are happiest a few years after buying almost always purchased homes with the same characteristics. They're the features that make a home easier to live in, easier to maintain, and often easier to sell down the road. So today I'm sharing the 7 biggest green flags I personally look for before recommending a home to a client. And one of them is a backyard feature that's becoming incredibly valuable around Seattle that many buyers don't think about until it's too late. Let's jump in. Green flag number 1, the home doesn't need immediate major work. One of the biggest shifts I've seen over the last few years is how buyers think about renovations. There was a time when buying the fixer felt like the obvious smart financial move. Today, I'm much more cautious. If you ask 3 contractors to bid on the same kitchen remodel, you might get 3 completely different prices. Material costs can fluctuate. With gas prices rising, you don't know what the materials are going to cost. Projects can take longer than expected. And once walls get opened up, unexpected repairs have a way of showing up. Instead of budgeting for a remodel, buyers are often budgeting for uncertainty. That's why move-in ready homes continue to attract so much attention. People aren't just paying for updated finishes, they're paying for predictability. Now, that doesn't mean every home has to be completely remodeled. Cosmetic updates like paint, lighting, or flooring are one thing, but when a home needs major systems replaced or extensive renovations right after closing, I think buyers should factor in more than just the estimated cost. They're also taking on additional stress and risk. Green flag number 2, the floor plan already works. This is something buyers sometimes underestimate. Paint can change, countertops can change, cabinets can change, but a floor plan is much harder and much more expensive to fix. When I walk through a home, I'm always asking myself whether the layout actually supports how people live today. Does the kitchen connect naturally to the living space? Are the bedrooms laid out in a practical way? Is there enough separation if someone works from home? Some homes don't need a single cosmetic update because the layout simply feels right. Others have beautiful finishes but never quite function well. In my opinion, a great floor plan will almost always outlast trendy finishes. And a floor plan is actually something that is very easy to make with today's technology. So you can really see what the house layout is and see if it works for you. Green flag number 3, the neighborhood has momentum. I never evaluate a home by itself. I always evaluate what's happening around it. Are new restaurants opening? Are parks being improved? Are local businesses investing? Do you see young families moving in? Is there new infrastructure being built? Sometimes 2 nearly identical homes appreciate very differently because one neighborhood continues improving while the other stays relatively stagnant. That's one reason I love helping relocation buyers. We are not choosing a house, we're choosing where everyday life is going to happen. Sometimes the neighborhood ends up being the better investment than the house itself. Green flag number 4, The property gives you options, especially if it has a DADU. One feature I've become much more excited about over the past few years is a DADU. That stands for Detached Accessory Dwelling Unit. Think of it as a small second home that's separate from the main house. A few years ago, buyers mostly saw them as a nice bonus. Today, they're becoming one of the most desirable features I see. Why? Because life changes. Maybe your parent moves in one day. Maybe an adult child needs a place to stay while they're getting started. Maybe you work remotely and want a completely separate office. Or maybe you'd like the option of earning income or to help offset your mortgage. The important word here is options. Even if you never use the DADU yourself, having that flexibility makes the property much more adaptable over the next 10 or 20 years. And because more buyers are looking for those possibilities, homes with well-designed DADUs often stand out when they hit the market. Green flag number 5, the home has great natural light. This one sounds simple, but honestly, I think it's one of the most underrated features in Western Washington. We all know Seattle has long stretches of gray weather during the winter, the spring, the fall. Natural light changes how a home feels every single day. South facing windows, large windows, open sight lines, bright living spaces, these things make a much bigger difference than people realize. I've had buyers walk into 2 homes with nearly identical layouts. One immediately feels warm and inviting, the other feels dark and closed off. The biggest difference wasn't the finishes, it was the light. You can repaint walls, you can't easily create sunshine. And we all know that here in the Pacific Northwest, we need a little bit of sunshine in our lives, for sure. Green flag number 6, the location makes everyday life easier. I tell clients all the time, you're not buying a house, you're buying your daily routine. Can you grab a coffee without driving 20 minutes? Is your commute reasonable? Can you get groceries conveniently? Are there parks nearby? Would you actually enjoy living there on a random Tuesday? Those little moments add up over the years. Sometimes buyers become so focused on getting the biggest house possible that they forget how much location affects everyday happiness. A slightly smaller home in a location you truly enjoy often ends up being the better decision because you can live the life you want. And who doesn't want to walk down the street and get their favorite coffee in the morning? I mean, that's a huge bonus. But if you're driving 20 minutes, that can really make the difference. So be where you want to be and where your life feels the best. And now, green flag number 7, you'd still love the home even if it never went up in value. This is probably one of the biggest green flags of all. Real estate has historically been a great long-term investment. But I never want someone buying a home only because they assume prices will keep climbing. Instead, I ask a different question. If this home was worth exactly the same amount 5 years from now, would you still be happy you bought it? Would you love living there? Would the neighborhood still fit your lifestyle? Would the layout still work for your family? If the answer is yes, then you're probably buying for the right reasons. And ironically, those are often the homes that end up being the biggest and the best investments anyways, because they're the house that actually fits you. But please don't just buy a house because you think it's going to appreciate in 2 years and that you can just buy a bigger house, because right now we are not seeing that. And you don't want to get stuck in a house that no longer fits you because you can't afford to buy your next home that you would like to buy in that moment. At the end of the day, there really isn't a perfect house. Every home has trade offs, but homes that consistently make buyers happiest tend to share these same characteristics. They have good fundamentals, they adapt as life changes, and they make everyday living easier, not just more impressive during an open house. If you're planning a move anywhere in the Seattle area, I hope these green flags give you a better framework for evaluating homes beyond just the finishes. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one feature that immediately makes you fall in love with the house? Let me know down in the comments. If you're thinking about buying or selling or relocating to Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, Tacoma, or Gig Harbor, I'd love to help. My contact information is in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.